showtime!
It's showtime, CFM Radio, once again.
Yo, we are back on the most excellent of Wednesdays, my dude.
It is
How's
Wednesday,
it going,
my
Vector?
dudes. You know, man, it's Wednesday, right in smack dab in the middle of the week, Drix. I'm just ready for another CFM Radio. I've been playing a lot of games.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been, grinding my way through Bomb Rush Cyberpunk and also really enjoying the frustration from unrelenting boss after unrelenting boss in Armored Core. Talking builds, I'm talking Armored Core builds with all of my friends. We've waited long enough to do this, and I had my first PvP match yesterday with my buddy, and I came out on top.
Nice.
I just finished the Sea Spider, one of the bosses. Yeah, I was ready. I was all warmed up to fight a real human, and it went well. I'm gonna hang on to that for the rest of the week.
Oh hell yeah, dude! You got it. It's Armored Core. Armored Core PvP is no joke. I just got to see Spider myself. I got stonewalled at Baltius until I realized that I didn't need to assault boost to dodge all of his Hellfire missile launchers, and I just ended up just dashing around underneath him a lot and shooting him down with vertical missiles and burst fire rifle. I had to switch from my beloved shotgun, and I'm actually thinking I'm gonna have to switch from my beloved shotgun once again to fight Sea Spider, because even though I can get Sea Spider down, I could push him to the phase, right? I could push him.
Yes.
Yeah, I could push
when
him
he takes flight.
Yeah, I could push him to the part where he takes flight, and it just, because here's my thing. I like straight up fights. My guy uses a vertical plasma rocket launcher, a lock-on homing missile launcher. Those are his shoulder weapons. And then I have a laser sword and a shotgun. And so I'm just in there trying to get up in your face, and I'm trying to make it. I try to deny all the area around you, and I try to keep you moving. And it's working in the arena simulations a lot. A lot of those ACs, I could tell there are times when I'm fighting against the AI, the AC AI, and I've shot the missile launchers up. I've shot my homing missile launcher at him, and then I've dashed forward with my shotgun and shot him once. And the AI kind of does a dash back and forth. It's like it doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, we haven't made it to New Game Plus yet.
No, not quite yet.
There are many who have, though, the real ravens out there.
Oh man, and I hear it's a totally different experience.
Yeah, I wasn't that into the Elden Ring meta, maybe because it wasn't mecha and it was fantasy instead. But I feel like I'm finally participating in a game's meta, where it's just everybody's talking about it online, how they like to play, how they like to build, and just, little trash talk. Maybe Armored Core is an esport. Maybe it always was,
It's interesting to me.
Not up to me.
It's interesting to me. It feels so weirdly nostalgic to be talking about Armored Core this far into the future. Especially since... So here's the thing. Armored Core still feels like Armored Core. And that's the best part about it. Is that it's not like this huge production. It's not like any kind of... they didn't make it some big... over the top deal, right? It's just
they've never drawn anime characters, and they're not going
right.
To,
yeah,
okay?
seriously.
There's other games for that.
Yeah, this is about the mechs, and I'm pleasantly surprised they've kept it about the mechs, and I'm pleasantly surprised that the atmosphere is. Here's the thing: I didn't realize Armored Core had a very specific atmosphere until I really played Armored Core 6, and there is no humanization of any of the characters or entities you interact with. because some of the entities you interact with aren't even like people. They literally are entities. Like you're interacting with
the
Balaam
computer
Corp.
menu.
Yeah,
it's just a mission select screen.
All mind.
A garage, a shop, and there's no people anywhere. There's no human element to it.
No,
but that's part of the story.
And that's what I'm trying to say. Even with like the communications, like getting a mission, right? Like if I get a mission from Dafeng, I'm not gonna talk to a Dafeng liaison, right? Like I'm just going to accept a radio transmission that says, "Yo, go do this." And like maybe some of the people, some of the other AC pilots who are on the mission will also talk with you, but that's about it.
That's the most expose that you get.
It's pretty awesome. I like it. I like it.
It's a vibe, as they say.
It might seem weird to say it. Like it's weird to say it, but I really do enjoy like the no bullshit, cut to the chase, spare the pleasantries style of like experience that the aesthetic of the game offers.
Yeah.
No one really like it feels weird when characters become humanized in Armored Core 6, and I really like that.
Yeah. In this sense, yeah, you don't want to feel too much. You just gotta on to the next mission, Raven.
Right, you gotta do the job. And like, and it's funny because that game just came out and hot off the heels of a very solitary, not very personal experience into today's big release, Starfield. That's all about the characters.
Yeah.
I've only dipped my toe into Starfield, made my character, started moving towards Constellation, as they call the main faction of the game. But I can already tell this game is all about the characters. I've already met like 3 who already are they just ooze personality, and like I want to like talk to them more, but you're on like a mission, so you gotta go. And it's pretty cool. I really like it. I haven't been into like the meat of the game yet, but I don't know what people are talking about with the faces and the facial animations. I see a lot of hate for it online, but I think it looks good. I think it looks great. It's not Baldur's Gate 3, but all those faces, from what I understand, the faces in Starfield, some of them are procedurally generated, some of them aren't. And Baldur's Gate 3, they just have that whole thing is handcrafted all the way through. So makes sense, the difference of quality. But for me, I think it looks great, and I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I heard great things about a player who filled a room full of potatoes and opened the door, and then said the physics were just wonderful. The way those potatoes fell out of that half full room was just excellent. So kudos.
That's hilarious.
Bethesda's least buggy game, hopefully, is what I've heard.
That's what I hear. Least buggy game by a long shot. I hear it's also the best story they've ever told. Like I said, I haven't dipped my toe too deep into it, but I can't wait to really get into it. I'm probably gonna jump into it tomorrow and during the weekend. I just got Baldur's Gate 3 on the PS5 to play with my girlfriend playing split screen. And to be fair, the split screen does look good. I thought the split screen, right? You think, all right, so you're going to sacrifice some fidelity and some graphics.
Yeah. You would expect.
Yeah, but Baldur's Gate 3 does a good job in preserving all of the visuals, in preserving the whole experience, even with a split screen right down the middle. I think it looks good. Me and her are both old school Baldur's Gate 3 Stadia players, so the controller scheme is not very different at all. If you play it on Stadia, you know how to play on a controller, Baldur's Gate 3, so pretty good. I'm having a good time with it. Nice translation. Oh, and cloud save translates perfectly from the PC onto the PlayStation. We picked up right where we left off.
Wow. Kudos. Larian Studios. That sounds amazing.
It is, but you know what? We're going to jump into, right before we jump into the first musical break, we're going to talk game studios who don't get so lucky in the long run. And we're talking legendary studio Volition shuts down after 30 years last week as parent company Embracer Group weathers financial troubles. All you need to do is take a look at the Volition website, volitiongames.com. Peek at that website reveals the farewell post front and center. You can go read it. You can go read it for yourself. I'm not going to read it here. If Volition Games made classics, such as Free Space, Red Faction, and didn't matter how you felt about the last one. Saints Row is a legendary series.
Yeah, it kept up with the GTA titan that it is, and put a different spin on it. Definitely their own take.
Much
on
more
the, open world action,
and much more over the top. It's one of those things. Like I love GTA, and GTA. I think a lot of people forget that GTA 5 is a lot different, right? But GTA 4 and almost all previous GTA games weren't very light-hearted. There wasn't too much comedy.
No.
They were very hard-boiled, like Sopranos style.
Yeah. Like the Scarface game or the Godfather game.
Yeah.
Another GTA style action, but based on a movie.
But Saints Row took the ridiculousness level that you could achieve in GTA, and that GTA would flirt with, right? In like San Andreas, and especially in Vice City, and especially in the DLCs for GTA 4, because GTA 4 was storyline was a pretty serious game, right?
Yeah, cinematic even.
Yeah. GTA 4 was that game took itself very seriously. And then you played some of the DLCs and it was a little bit more lighthearted. But that game was a very, very serious game. So it was fun to play Saints Row, which felt like the Batman version, like the Saturday morning cartoon version of Grand Theft Auto. You can make a wild, goofy, created character and they'll be in the cinematics, and they'll be interacting with all the other characters, and all the other characters
over the top, almost 80s action movie flavor. Yeah.
And you have these not just like cast of like goofy characters, but like also like GTA spoof characters. So there's like gangbangers and like mafiosos and like cartoon mascots, and then there's your character, and it could be like whatever it is, because there's a million different things, and you could unlock a bunch of different cosmetics. All about the cosmetics.
Tons to unlock too.
Tons
like
to
the
unlock.
Stores you could go to, and like the styles of like each gang.
Oh my god, the maps were huge.
Yeah.
You unlocked big chunks of the map. It was huge, dude.
And they really focused on the gang war kind of turf war element a lot more. Like that was kind of what I liked from, say, San Andreas.
Yes.
But yeah, you could take that everywhere, all over the place throughout the whole game, and like get paid and buy clothes and guns and stuff with it. Yep. And
no two shops ever. They might be the same in the same chain, but they didn't have the same inventory. Like it was awesome. It was awesome. Sad to see Volition go. Hopefully, the intellectual properties get picked up by some studios who will do it justice. Yeah,
you never know. Could happen with time. We've seen stranger things happen.
Absolutely. But you know what? We've got a lot to jump into. Let's take our first break. We've got some hardcore music going on. What are we listening to, Drix?
Right now, we're playing some Contra hardcore for the Genesis Sega Mega Drive. The song's called Last Springsteen.
Last Springsteen, Contra hardcore jamming, CFM Radio. We are live.
Shake it, mama, shake it for me. Get me busy with that ass, 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 ass. Work it good, work it the best. Ooh, let me know I need ass, 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 ass. I can make you shake if you want the beat too. I can make you nude. Ass, 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 ass. Step with the real, I can feel it gets so red. It's ass, 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 ass. Ooh, baby, let me get it. Let me get your breast in that ass, 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 ass. And when we do it all, baby, you will know. Let me see, baby, the rest of me is just ass, 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 ass. Rock it, baby, rock it like you're bad. 'Cause what you have is some ass, 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 ass. Don't get me wrong, I think you're top class. I'm just feeling that ass, 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 ass. Let me get you hype, and you won't regret. I can make you wet. Ass, 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 ass. Take it to the end, and we're all okay. This is for the big fat ass, 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 ass. Ooh, baby, let me get it. Let me get your breast in that ass, 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 ass. And when we do it all, baby, you will know. Let me see, baby, the rest of me is just ass, 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 ass. Baby, let me get it. Let me get your breast in that ass, 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 ass. And when we do it all, baby, you will know. Let me see, baby, the rest of me is just ass, 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 ass.
Yo, yo. Back at it once again on CFM Radio.
CFM Radio.
We are live. Gonna do a live game review, all for you.
All right, Drix, tell us what is the game that we're watching you review?
Man, this is gonna be the CFM review of Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. We got some of the music playing in the background, and I have just been listening to this soundtrack for a couple weeks now, just enjoying it. So,
Same. I love this soundtrack. I haven't yet to play the game myself. I haven't jumped into Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, but I can't wait to play it just because of the aesthetic alone, and I love the soundtrack.
yeah, the atmosphere, the artistic style, the vibe created by like the music and the visuals, that's really the hottest selling point. That's the easiest thing to look at and go, wow, like, hey, I'm gonna check this out. Whether or not you stick around, you know, is up to you. What I'm gonna preface it by saying, you know, I'm a musician and I love, you know, tearing apart music and just getting into different genres. And like, not only do I play like in a band with a guitar, but like I also like to make music on a computer. And, you know, drum and bass is my thing. I don't know if you've listened to any of the CFM music, but a lot of jungle, a lot of break beats. And man, I'm going to try not just to say it a whole lot, but we all know, if you were there for it, that this game was inspired by Jet Grind Radio from the Dreamcast and Jet Set Radio Future on the Xbox.
The original
And
Xbox.
yeah, if you've got the Dreamcast Classics bundle on Steam, You got Jet Grind Radio, and those are Sega classics now. They're a decade or two old each, and that's where the inspiration for Bomb Rush Cyberpunk comes into play. But not everybody can just go and pick up a historic artifact collectible game at your local video game shop and just revisit the nostalgic times. If you don't have that button, it'll affect your experience playing this game. But I think it's our duty as game journalists to kind of give it like an objective perspective. And what I'm not going to do is try to put this game in, I'm not going to judge a platformer by its ability to be a sports simulation, because what we got here...
Interesting. Okay.
A sports game or a simulation of like an extreme sport even, this is a great platformer. And if anything, it's guilty of doing maybe the same thing that its inspiration comes from, but in a lot of ways it's different, and I really liked it. It really hits all of my, like, what makes me happy when I'm enjoying a gameplay. So we can do trick. We can ride inline skates. We can ride skateboards and a BMX bike. You unlock up to 3 characters. But it's not like, if you want this to be Tony Hawk, you're going to be a little disappointed. There's no like grind meter, the tricks and the combos. It's really about exploring the map and how far you can get, up to these graffiti spots, because the graffiti is also another essential part of the game. You have like most of the elements of hip hop, other than DJing. You have dance moves that you can unlock. You have graffiti that you can unlock. And the way you do graffiti is through input with the control stick. So if you happen to be spraying the same graffiti, like, you need to try a different combo, or maybe move the stick to a different direction and try different stuff and really experiment. But the combos and the tricking is really about exploring the map and how far you can get, because the multipliers are earned by hitting corners, and you have to hit the direction and lean into them and trigger your jetpack. See, and the jetpack is where it takes a step out from the mechanics of like the Sega inspiration. You can build up boosts. You can use boosts to access different places. You kind of have to. You can also get off of your skateboard, BMX bike, or inline skates, and you have to do. You can only access certain places by sort of crouching and doing like a power slide, like a Call of Duty power slide.
Oh,
in fact,
wow. Okay.
In fact, there's at least 2 racetracks where, when you power slide off of your, move style vehicles, you can just power slide and you have to compete in like a race or do tricks or get combos in a little racetrack, which was built into the game. I'm glad to say I got to beat it. I got to make it to the end before I got to deliver this review for you guys. And one of the things, you unlock more stuff as you go. It takes a while to get all the characters and to get like your BMX bike going. But it tells you kind of casually, like it does with the BMX bikes. It's like, oh, you can hit turbo and trick at the same time, and it resets your timing meter. And once that clicked, I was like, oh wow, there's a whole mechanic to this game. I can, it helped out in the crew battle that I had to do, where I had to earn a lot of points. I was hitting all the corners, but there's actually a whole flat ground element of doing turbo tricks while you're grinding, or when you're on flat ground doing a manual or a wheelie, that like really extends the tricking quite a bit, and helps out in some of the harder escalation of like the crew battles. And another departure from its inspiration from Sega, Jet Grind Radio, JSRF, is the story. Because I mean, you could say it's like a body horror thing where the character loses his head and he's got to find it, and it's this cyberpunk universe, so like his head is replaced with a machine, but
That's pretty
they call
weird.
him Machine Head. Yeah, it's a little out there. Again, if you're holding to your expectations that this is going to be exactly like something you've seen before, you're going to be a little disappointed. Like, have an open mind. And I don't think this game has faults. They're very similar to Jet Set, and it's usually in the verticality. Like, oh, how am I going to access this weird? There's a graffiti spot up there, and the level design doesn't lead me into how I'm supposed to get it. But I gotta say, if you stick around and you make it to the end of this game, it's 8 to 12 hours, a whole playthrough, and it builds, and you learn a lot of stuff, and there's a couple cool plot twists that I really like about the story. It hits for me. And one of the cons is I don't know if it just comes with cel-shaded graphics, but there's a bit of like visual clipping, and I think we've seen this before, and it's just kind of accepted as like, oh, that's a like manga, like they're drawing cells of animation. I think of it as like, if you've ever seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and you look at the character Jotaro, it's like, where does his hat end and his hair begin? It's like some kind of weird, it's a weird,
So it's like a stylistic choice.
Yeah, it's like you don't care if it clips because, you know, your characters in the story are like anarchists or whatever, and they're just like, no, not about authority and whatever plans they're trying to pull. And, you know, I just want to like get up with my graffiti and my own style. But I really like the input-based graffiti system, because if you keep putting up the same graffiti, it's like, well, look at what other moves you can do. Like, you have to do like a different half circle, quarter circle, you know, movement with your stick, and you have to unlock it first too. It's a lot of fun stuff to unlock, some cool cosmetics. In fact, even if you're being chased by the police or the authorities, they can get pretty annoying, and they kind of add like a cool cat and mouse to like, oh, I'm just trying to explore the map and get to some place. No, they will antagonize you and chase you down. The more graffiti you do, there will be like sentry guns that pop up and like snipers that will show up, and just guys with riot shields, and it's a hootenanny. It's quite, you know, it's quite an Antifa hootenanny. And yeah, so there's some visual clipping, and if you're okay, you will get stuck. Another con, if you can't figure out, same thing with the games that inspired it, if you can't figure out the way to get up a obscure, you know, rail in the corner somewhere, whatever part of the level design, you will have a bit of trial and error. And, you know, it doesn't exactly spoon feed you where you're supposed to go all the time, especially when it's in a vertical direction. But after finishing the game, you will know like where all the graffiti spots are. Like, you'll have an idea of how to do like the combos. It's not within reach. Like, it doesn't feel unfair.
So, all right.
And if you if you practice your lines, you can nail the combos.
So there's a lot there. Like, this is my whole thing. My big contention when I'm hearing a lot of this is, I'm hearing a lot of give and take. I'm hearing a lot of, you know, if you stick with it, it's like this. On the surface, the tricking doesn't seem to have a ton of depth, but it has nuances that make it a little bit more dynamic as you're navigating the city. As always, missions don't seem very clear, and as always, verticality in these kinds of games can be a bit obtuse. So all of those things, all things considered, here's the real deal. When it comes to the gameplay, when it comes to the game flow, is the game, does it flow well, or do you hit those Jet Set Radio Future moments? Mostly in Jet Set Radio Future, actually. Jet Grind Radio had a little bit better pacing, but in Jet Set Radio Future, you know, you reach moments like easy one that I can think of is with up against the Immortals when you're trying to get to the top of their pyramid and shit like that. So like, you know, you have these moments of where the fuck am I going and how do I get there, because I need to go up and it's not exactly clear on how we get up. Or how you go vertically to this place. The one place in Jet Grind Radio that was like, this is Grind City, right? So you have all these weird verticality issues. So does the game hit you over the head with these things? Does it ease you into it? What does the game flow? Like, does the moment-to-moment action, do these little nagging things impact the moment-to-moment action in a way where you're sitting there like just ending up frustrated at the end of the day? Or does it feel like oh god, finally I can fucking finish this stupid mission? Or is this one of those things where I'm trying a lot of different ways to get to a point that's maybe way high up there or way in a different like on a different region of the map that looks really hard to get to? Like, I gotta, like, there's like a rail right here, there's clearly billboards I could ride. Is there a lot of different ways to get to one thing, or is it like JSRF where it's like, fuck, there's one way to get here and I have to stick to that way or else I'm just screwed and I have to master this? Is it more freeform? Like, is it, and through that, does that grinding, and especially since the extreme, like the tricking and things like that isn't really extreme sports or stimulation focused, it's more arcadey, like it's more of a platformer. So like I said, does it add up to frustration, or does it add up to, man, that was really cool because I tried a million different ways to get there and one of them worked?
Yeah, definitely not. There's not a lot of variety in the paths. If there's like a graffiti spot that you haven't hit, there's usually one way to access it that's pretty obscure. But I gotta say, it doesn't hit you over the head with it. Like the visual clipping, and occasionally, like if you are struggling in one of those areas, what will break the immersion is like if you hear the same 3 or 4 songs on repeat, and you have to like go through the songs you've unlocked on your flip phone MP3 player and pick something that you haven't heard as much for a while. Yeah, it's more, the cell shaded clipping, and sometimes the playlist can be a little restricted, but for the most part you have a like a map point. You can look at the map. It looks pretty close to Jet Set if you've ever seen it. And yeah, you have like an objective point. There was one instance where I was like, okay, I'm not sure where exactly to go. Am I in the right zone? And if you pay attention, you can figure it out. It's not impossible. But yeah, it's the little nitpick, like, oh, maybe if this was a Tony Hawk, or maybe if I didn't have to go to my cell phone and change the song when I'm in the same area for too long. Or maybe if his head wasn't so big, his machine head, that it clips through the couch, or like other weird cell shading things. Those are just, they're little details that really, for me, since I was so enamored by the fact that they just made something inspired by like Dreamcast, Xbox, cell shaded games, I was just really glad to see it, and it really hit a lot of the marks for me. And I liked the soundtrack. It covers. There's not as much J-rock, screaming in your face. It doesn't have what you might call just like a Japanese style to it, or like soul, because that's just something unique that you can't program. But I think Team Reptile is from like the Netherlands or like the EU, I want to say. But the music is eclectic, and if you know your like EDM dance music genres, especially from like Europe or something, you'll see that there's like, and pay attention to some of the lyrics too. I found there were like the songs had some pretty good lyrical content that were like, this guy's rapping about Light Warrior stuff, and this chick's she's singing about, get off your phone. It's easier to say hi, if you're not on your phone.
I too
really relatable. UK garage, a lot of UK garage, some house, break beats everywhere. Really, really hit my fancy.
Same. I've been listening to the soundtrack a lot. It's crept into my work rotation, and you hit the nail on the head. I think where Jet Set Radio was like the first Jet Grind Radio was, all of these Hideki Naganuma, right? He's got that kind of quality to him where like Daisuke Ishiwatari, where here's a soundtrack with a game, you know what I mean? And like it's as opposed to like here's a game with a sweet soundtrack, but it doesn't take away from the game itself. And well, for the most part. And I gotta say, the evolution when you listen to it is clear. Jet Grind Radio, or the first Jet Set Radio, was way more inspired by like classical funk and hip hop R&B rooted funk. JSRF was much more of the old school early aughts Eurobeat style, Eurobeat mixed with J-rock. And just basically an eclectic mix of Eurasian early 2000s musical styles brought together in an electro funk, I guess, shell. And now you have Bomb Rush Cyberfunk that is, honestly, I think the music is a little bit for the time that we're in, is a little bit ahead of its time in the way where this kind of feels almost like 2010s nostalgia.
But still futuristic and not like pop music you'd hear today.
Yeah, like it's very eclectic. Like you hit the nail on the head with like that EDM style. Like I hear the Swedish House Mafia. I hear the Skrillex, especially in tracks like Get Enough, you know what I mean? Like you really hear those you hear those inspirations.
Yeah, the George Clinton, the Parliament Funkadelic that you're hearing a little bit in the background right now.
Absolutely.
It runs the genre gamut just enough without actually having a whole lot of like distorted guitars or like rock and roll. That's the only thing that you might be missing if you're familiar with like the Jet Set soundtrack.
But again,
if you think about it, that Jet Set's in Tokyo,
right,
and it features like Shibuya Terminal and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Bomb Rush, it's in New Amsterdam, and you got 5 different boroughs, which in case you didn't know, Old New York was once called New Amsterdam. So
right.
Yep.
So that's right there is a little bit more of an eclectic inspirational bit for you. You know what I'm saying? But to that point, that's why I say I feel like the music, the soundtrack choice is a little bit maybe ahead of its time, because you are getting a lot of like 2009, 2010, 2011 style dance beats.
Yep, just 20 years ago enough that it's about to circle around and come right back.
Yes. And like I've heard a lot of criticisms about the soundtrack in the way where it's like it feels really poppy. It feels like it's trying to emulate something that the older games were getting at. And I don't know if that's the right way to really look at it. I think every single Jet Set game, or essentially Hideki Naganuma game, because even Lethal League is like this, right? You listen to the soundtrack for Lethal League. Even Lethal League is like this. They're all very, very, very representative of the time he's making the music in, right?
Yeah.
Like,
there's nothing like a funky beat.
Yeah. So
you got to take the funk and you got to spread it around all over the place.
So gameplay. So if I'm walking away from your review correctly, I'm saying gameplay might be a little bit rough around the edges. It might even lose me if I'm not willing to stick with it. Things can get a little bit. Things can lack a little bit of quality of life. Not very many ways. Not very handholdy. Not very straightforward in exploration because of the verticality. and the graffiti system can seem a bit samey, but it's you get out what you put in, as far as trying to like mix up how to make your graffiti. Like that, it's walking away from your description of the game seems pretty much like a big give and take. But if you're a fan, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no graffiti editor. You know, its only real flaw is that if anything, it'll leave you wanting more of what it is.
Leave you wanting more in the way where I want to play more of what I'm already playing, or I want to expand on this formula.
Yeah, well, maybe this will be the title that'll give Sega the kick in their butt they need to reboot Jet Grind Radio. Hopefully, but end of the day, you know, I see how some people might call it mids. But this game really hit for me. I love the music. I love looking at it. I was really into the story. I felt it was way more dramatic than what's come before it. And like, I liked the characters and some of the twists that the plot took. And I personally enjoyed every minute of playing this game. I would even play it again. And I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. 4 out of 5. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. We will put this up on CFM Radio YouTube a little bit later on after the fact. But if you like Jet Set Radio and you like platforming, not necessarily taking the game as a extreme sports simulator, but more using your extreme sports tricks to
get the heaven graffiti spots.
Right.
All the way up.
There you go. To get to the heaven graffiti spots and really explore the world, then you're probably going to have a good time. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, CFM Radio, 4 out of 5.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You know what, Drake? I'm probably going to pick that game up. I love Jet Set Radio. I love all that stuff. I love Lethal League. And you know what, man? I love games where I could draw graffiti.
Yeah, I love a good graffiti game. It really hits me in a special place in my heart, you know. And if you gotta wait until it's on sale, you know, right now, full price, $40. I didn't mind dropping it as soon as I could to really enjoy this, what you could call nostalgic experience. But yeah, if you gotta wait till it's on sale, more power to you. I hope you have a great time. Till then, here's one of the lyrical jams from Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Some Light Warrior shit going down. The song's called Light Switch.
We only getting started. Yeah, I got the light. He got the light. We got the light. What you know about it? So much light. More light than a spike in your power bill. Or a match when it strike, we devour ill. They don't know how to feel. Their minds cripple, mental gangbangers. Never saw losers, but we game changers. Rearrange strangers with the Rickens next mission. Bring the light to your home, electrician. I've been grinding since the basement. If you know, you know, man, you not adjacent. I'm in a league of my own. My soul speaking through poems. Both your speakers are blown for my songs. Let's get it on. I'm ready for the challenge. The dichotomy of dark and light is all about balance. Life's never perfect. Beauty runs deeper than the surface. Album on sale, but the soul not for purchase. Birth this ill style with mild symptoms. It gets them ecstatic. I'm a shock to the system. Warrior, battle scarred, yet these bars hard. Thus became an author, not the aardvark. This the hard part, restarted the lost art. Can't make a smash from the mouth, I'm an all-star. Like this, light switch, like this, priceless. Like this, light switch, like this, priceless. Hit the light switch if you need a light switch. Like this, right quick for the night shift. I got the light, we got the light, we got the light switch. Sacrifice a ticket to the afterlife. My mission isn't done on earth. Alert the Xerxes versus fuel my appetite. I have the right insight. World needs the facts of life. Healthy as an apple slice. This what real rappers like. International. Took a vacay. Still working on my sabbatical. Casual but tactical. Listen up, please. I'm more than a chess piece. Pawn starving a bargain for scraps while the rest eat. Left me to fend for myself. And I conquered where the wild things are with the monsters. As As the earth keeps turning, lies keep turning, my eyes see burning. Fire desire required, I'm blessed as 3 sermons. Speaking that breeze, the feet vermin. Billie Jean, you can see the light. Every step that I take, walk with a glow kept to my fate. Like this, like switch, like this, priceless. Like this, like switch, like this, priceless. Hit the light switch if you need a light switch. Like this, right quick for the night shift. I got the light, I got the light, we got the light switch. Shine on, young king, with the gleam of a colorful dreamer. Clean by the redeemer, queens of radiant demeanor. Beams of light, I know you've seen us. Shine bright through the zeitgeist. Baking on jewels, hit a nice heist. Drop a few gems, then ignite mics. Land of the free, but it comes with a slight price. You are not nice. Rappers wanna battle, not a sweat. Quiet is kept like Naruto's wife. He not a threat, young vet in the place. Masses, brains all trash. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. Darkness embraced like a plague. But our light never will be dim. Better grab a pair of shades. But shine all in your face. I got the light, he got the light switch. Double, we can't stop shining, fam. It's what we do. Paint the sky blue. Feel a little static shock out here. What? They talk about
CFM Radio.
Yo, let's go.
We got new releases for you. There's actually quite a bit.
Yeah, some good stuff. A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
And you know what? Let's just get it right out of the way. Starfield, out today, September 6th. Todd Howard, Bethesda visionary, his new game is out. You got Game Pass. It doesn't matter if you got a Chromebook. If you got Game Pass, plug in a Xbox controller, plug in a PS4 controller, plug in a Logitech controller. You can play Starfield. $15, or actually, I think it's like $18. $18. Play Starfield now.
Yeah. Go Skyrim in space, everyone. Skyrim Evolve.
And up next, we have something that maybe fell off people's radars. Up next is Fae Farm. Showed off at a Nintendo Direct a few months back. Fae Farm is a new super cute lifestyle sim game hitting Switch and Steam Friday, September 8th. From the Steam page, quote, escape to the magical life of your dreams in Fae Farm, a farm sim RPG for 1 to 4 players. Craft, cultivate, and decorate to grow your homestead, and use spells to explore the enchanted island of Azoria.
Was that a free-to-play game?
I don't know. Give me 1 second. I'll check it out right now.
There was one. If it wasn't that one, it was the other one they announced at the Nintendo Direct.
Let me see. Really quick.
But worth looking for the price on that boy, because I knew there was one coming.
Fae Farm on the Switch. Hey, you know what? Fae Farm on the Switch is $60, baby. Let's do it.
Okay.
That's a full price arena. Fae Farm on Steam is 1 sec. The deluxe edition is $60, but there on Steam has a $40 option.
Okay. Well, that's Fae Farm.
Yeah, that's Fae Farm. Super cute life sim coming soon, or coming Friday. Also Friday, another huge release, like probably the other biggest release of the week, is undoubtedly NBA 2K24.
Yes,
every
annual
year,
sports game fans rejoice.
Of course. You know, NBA every year bringing something new to the table. This year sees NBA making huge improvements for the Xbox Series and PlayStation 5 console players, along with new single-player modes, Kobe Bryant's signature Mamba moments, and an innovative new Pro Play mode that claims to, quote, Deliver animations and movements via on-court NBA action for a generational leap in authenticity on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. You know what, Drix? I gotta tell you, I'm not a big sports guy, but if they're trying to do one-to-one from footage that happened like of the week, that's pretty awesome.
Wow. Definitely the next generation. We're seeing the PS5s of Madden last week and NBA 2K this week.
They're really taking advantage of that new hardware. They're really trying to make you feel like you are not just part of the game, like the season in the game. They want to make you feel like you're part of the football season as it's happening, or the basketball season as it's happening, right?
Yeah. Wow, imagine motion capturing what happens on ESPN as it happens.
That's pretty sweet, yeah. And then being able to play it. Like you can play,
that's really
you could play the
next generation.
I just was playing. I just watched the Bulls game on ESPN, and now I can play that same Bulls game, and it's footage accurate.
Crazy.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Well, the athletes make the big bucks.
Oh, hell yeah! And hey, you know what? We're going to talk a little bit more about who makes the big bucks a little bit later, but sounds like we're going to mellow out a little bit. What are we listening to?
This is from Castlevania Chronicles. This one's called Thrashered in the Cave.
Thrashered in the Cave. Castlevania Chronicles, CFM Radio.
That's why I stay on point like every single day. space. I do it for my race.
CFM Radio, we are back.
We have come to command and conquer. The song's called In Trouble.
Hell yeah, I love Command and Conquer. Another franchise that I miss dearly, Command and Conquer.
Yeah, really blazed a trail for the real-time strategy game,
Right.
especially on Windows 95 and the remaster.
All that Tiberium.
Yep.
All that Tiberium. But
Absolutely.
we don't need to worry about games like Baldur's Gate dying because Larian and their boss Sven Venke just simply cannot stop making headlines, Drix. They just can't stop.
No, and we're here to tell you, the people,
That in a video released yesterday by the official Dungeons & Dragons YouTube page, the Larian boss talks about the reception and the finer points of the development of their hit new game. They go into details such as the decision to not include every spell within the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons rulebook, their focus on player failure, and how the video game is turning more people on to the tabletop game by showing them the depth of the gameplay experiences one can have during a game of D&D. And you know, Drix, I gotta tell you, it is hilarious to watch this interview and listen to them talk about how people now are starting to go into tabletop games and ask if they can shove people and push things and like smash potions on things. Like it thinking so outside the box because Baldur's Gate 3 lets you do that.
yeah, that's what we want in our computer RPGs. And luckily there's no, menu that says like talk, look, like search. We've come a long way from the like Commodore 64 text-based RPG. Like now we have Alexa at our hands, and what a way to show it.
Yeah, especially since you could the fact that you could do all of this multiplayer is crazy. Like
Yeah, gotta get in on this with your friends and experience cooperative storytelling, except without having to gather for 4 hours every week and roll dice in an actual D&D campaign.
yeah, right. Everyone can just kind of kick back and
Yeah,
play
no
on their
DM.
PlayStations. Play.
I've had to be that guy who I had to learn how to DM just so my friends could play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh damn! I love DMing. I usually like DMing, but playing a player character is always fun.
Yeah, it's its own joy coming up with a world. Some people have their writing schemes where they can just knock it out.
Oh yeah, but you know what? Talking about epic writing and talking about immense talent, and especially with all the talent on display in Baldur's Gate 3, finally we got to talk about the SAG-AFTRA and the expansion of their strike to the video game industry. And Tech Radar has a story.
Yeah.
Headline
What a
is...
story.
What's up?
what a story it's been.
Dude, I know. First starting off with Hollywood now. I thought it was inevitable that we would get here. But anyway, Tech Radar has the story with the headline, SAG-AFTRA expands this to include video games after unanimous vote. From the article, quote, "Here we go again," announced SAG-AFTRA President Fran Drescher. Now our interactive video game agreement is at a stalemate too. Once again, we are facing employer greed and disrespect. Once again, artificial intelligence is putting our members in jeopardy of reducing their opportunity to work. And once again, SAG-AFTRA is standing up to tyranny on behalf of its members. Drix, I think maybe when it comes to Hollywood and AI, the money in Hollywood, I just saw a graphic of the money Hollywood's getting in comparison to other major industries such as music and video games. And I gotta tell you, Drix, the only one that they're beating is music. And music has been in a free fall ever since streaming. So
yeah. Peer-to-peer sharing took that out a while ago.
Yeah, seriously. So the fact that Hollywood is Hollywood investing a lot of money into AI, maybe not. But video games, now I can, on a personal level, I can kind of see their concern, because not only do video games deal with, whether you like it or not, right? And whether you might think of your PlayStations or PCs or graphics cards or whatever you might use to play your video games, whatever technology is in your video game, you are experiencing some of the most cutting edge entertainment technology that you possibly can get your hands on in our world that we live in. So whether or not you want to think one way or another about that, AI and video game technology go together like peanut butter and jelly, like bacon and eggs, like any great combination. AI and video games, boom, bickety bam. So I totally agree and think that if you're going to strike anything, you definitely strike against video games, because we know how cutthroat the gaming industry is, and we know the figureheads behind it. The Bobby Koticks, the Strauss Zelnicks, the Phil Spencers, all these guys. Then they'll do anything to cut the costs to get you to play their game. Yeah.
That's kind of how things work, There might be a couple of people up at the top, getting good amounts of cash, and then a lot of other people who are doing a lot of the hustle and bustle, a lot of the actual footwork, a lot of the boots on the ground, and may or may not be getting their fair share.
Well, I feel like one of the things that the SAG-AFTRA really is worried about is the elimination of small-time actors or extras or actors that don't have a non-recurring role, have an occasional role, and them being replaced with AI or what have you. So
yeah,
and
they want to scan people and use their likeness permanently forever and pay them for $100 a day. But if that's me, if that was my face, what else do I have to sell you? That's me. You know what I mean? That's my face. That's my mustache beard for the day, or my mohawk, whether it's up or not.
Well, and in video games, you could take my face and all of a sudden you have all of my features and their intricacies in your character creator.
Yeah. That's a nose and a mouth and eyes.
Mixing with other people's noses, mouths, and eyes. That's in the video game world is where I can see the SAG-AFTRA really, really having a really good case against all this technology. Because if one actor, I'll say it like this: if 2 to 3 actors can be used to create combinations that can result in 4 to 5 different looking individuals from 2 actors.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot.
9 x 9 tic-tac-toe combinations each.
Shit.
It's a lot. It's a significant contribution, and more than likely deserves to be compensated to some degree. As a musician, it's like, yeah, hook them up with the royalties. They wrote the song. Hang on to the rights that you have for you as an individual's intellectual property. Like, you have made a contribution. Those are your genes. That's your DNA. However you came out, whatever experience you've had that's altered your appearance, that's you. And that's your product. And that's what you're giving to whoever decides to scam.
To be fair, I don't know. I think I'm pretty black-pilled on this whole thing, because I feel like video games, the game industry itself at large, would have no problem saying, like, to the Hollywood celebrity as an entity, right? The Hollywood celebrity as an entity, oh well, fuck off then. And, like, just completely breaking from the idea of featuring the Hollywood celebrity ever again, because, bro, honestly, here's the real deal. And I know games like Beyond Two Souls, I think it was, kind of got in trouble for this, for using likenesses of actors that they didn't pay for. But dude, if I can build if I can build an individual that looks remarkably similar to a Hollywood actor in Unreal Engine.
Yeah, if you can make Todd in Starfield.
Yeah, literally. I can literally make Todd in Starfield as a player, as a game programmer, or an artist, or an artistic engineer, or an artistic director. Dude, I don't give a shit. My guy, I'll use Liam Neeson as an inspiration, and my guy will look vaguely like Liam Neeson, but I will never get Liam Neeson as the guy, and I won't fucking need him.
Yeah, it's just the whole ethics of how to use artificial intelligence, even just to make a piece of visual art. It's like, how did the AI learn to make that piece of visual art? You fed it other artists' visual art or something, like, right. Did a derivative, like, did the machine learning process that you fed the AI, whose copyright did you use for that?
Right. Did you pay for those rights for that original work to feed it to the AI so it could create a derivative of this work? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's all just a big gray area. I mean, I'm no expert for sure, but
there have been steps, of course, and I think our artists, as individuals, at the end of the day, are winning that war. But clearly, there's a long way to go if the SAG-AFTRA is not only going after the Hollywood movie industry, but it's also going after video games. And when you think about, like I said, just the technology that's associated with video games as a medium of entertainment, it's just the best of the best. The people pay for the best technology to outcompete everyone else. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a different ball game, and I guarantee you this won't be the last time we talk about this particular issue here on CFM Radio.
Absolutely not.
This is just the beginning, because now, I didn't want to make this our deal, SAG-AFTRA, but now they're stepping into the video game realm, and here on CFM Radio, Video Game Music and News, we're gonna, at the very least, deliver you the latest headlines every week.
Yeah, and just like with the Xbox FTC trial and the things that followed that, we'll give you the play-by-play, and we'll give you the fallout as much as it is reported on, because honestly, it's as someone who's seen video games come to life as the media, I grew up with an NES, tail end of the Atari age, coming into, had a SNES.
Arcades and
You see like I remember Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. That's a big deal. Like, Scottie Pippen, had a video game. Gnarls Barkley, Shut Up and Jam. You know what I mean? Like these games, like celebrities and their likenesses have been a staple of gaming culture just as much as they have been a staple of movie culture. Of course, you can never get... Of course, there's not a celebrity on the cover of every video game, like there's a celebrity on the poster of every movie. But
yeah, there's been many though.
There's been a lot. We just had Cyberpunk 2077 with Keanu Reeves, and now we have the DLC for Cyberpunk coming out with Keanu Reeves and Idris Elba.
Yeah, they've been around.
And to think that this could be the first salvo in what could be the end of celebrities in games is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, or at least it's going to be a while until they figure out how the contracts are going to work.
Yeah, man. And, it doesn't, like I said, while it doesn't mean the strike is here, this whole thing means that the door is left wide open for one.
Yep. I mean, we just got Diablo 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Street Fighter 6, Armored Core 6. I mean, I got my Bomb Rush, Cyberpunk.
Just today.
Always a retro catalog, too.
Just today, too. Megan Fox was, speaking of Diablo 4, she just appeared in marketing for Diablo 4, Megan Fox did, and she is Natara in Mortal Kombat 1.
Wow. Yeah, I think you shared a meme. I didn't know what to make of it yet, but that's the news, baby.
Yeah.
There you go. You want your game to be a success? Have Megan Fox in the budget.
Shh. Hey, if the SAG-AFTRA has anything to say about it, this is the last time you'll see Megan Fox in anything that's related to video games.
Perhaps.
But you know what? We're gonna take a quick musical break with this nice little bop.
Yeah, this is the Pokemon Blue field theme for Pokemon Pinball. Because you got your red pinball field and your blue pinball field. And a rumble pack for the Game Boy Color. Pokemon Pinball, Blue field theme.
Blue field theme, CFM Radio. Well, Drix, we had a pretty good show tonight, I think.
Yeah, good times, good games, good music, jamming.
Absolutely. And I think that we had a good nice bomb rush cyberpunk review. A lot of stuff dealing with the state of gaming as a whole is just insane. The Starfield, SAG-AFTRA, Volition Studios going down. The tons of releases, NBA 2K24, Fae Farm, it's a whirlwind, Drix.
Yeah, it's been a really fun journey here on CFM Radio, covering all the top stories and things you might want to tap into in the gaming industry,
And
as well as some awesome tunes.
Absolutely the best video game music and the hottest headlines. Because, guys, at the end of the day, we just want to play great games.
Oh yeah. With everything going on, let's get down.
And I think it's time to get down. I want to go play some games. So I'm getting out of here. How about you, Drix?
Oh yeah. Armored Core 6 awaits.
Absolutely. So